Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles market update. Today is the 28th of August, 2024, and I'm Gianni DePoce, your host. We have some really important headlines coming up in the next few days. Today, it begins with NVIDIA's earnings, a potential market-moving event that could set the tone for the tech sector going into the remainder of the quarter. And the timing couldn't be better given that Mercury goes direct today, and then, of course, Uranus will go direct next week on the 1st of September. Then tomorrow we have a GDP revision from the second quarter, and then on Friday, another inflation report. So let's go ahead and take a look at what markets are doing right now. Seeing a little bit of selling come into the stock market at the moment. The Dow Jones hit a new all-time high earlier this week, but there are some concerns with this high, namely the fact that the NASDAQ 100 and just the overall NASDAQ as well did not make a new all-time. Instead, we saw it rejected at technical support, or former support turned resistance rather, and it formed a lower high. And this is a major concern because it could be the first step in the establishment of a downtrend. And this high also happened in one of our reversal periods, but we're coming up into another one right now. Last week we had Venus square Mars, and yesterday we had Venus trine Uranus. Today, Venus opposite Neptune, and then tomorrow we will have Venus going into Libra. So a lot of Venus signatures right now, and seeing some notable moves, not just in stocks, but in currency markets as well, as the US dollar continues to weaken. Overall, it's coming back down a little bit, but we've seen the euro rally to its highest level in over a year. And in theory, this should be a tailwind for higher stock prices, higher precious metal prices and commodity prices, and even higher cryptocurrency prices. But this is a pretty overbought market here, looking at the euro against the dollar. I'd look for a higher low, perhaps by next week. You know, it's not just Uranus going retrograde. We have Pluto retrograding back into the sign of Capricorn for another several weeks, and it's going to be the final stretch that Pluto is going to be in the sign of Capricorn for the next 248 years or so, give or take. So it's going to be the last hurrah, if you will, of those Pluto and Capricorn themes. Certainly interesting that we're going back into a period of monetary easing. That is, the Fed's going to be lowering interest rates starting next month. And we know that Pluto in Capricorn was known, still is going to be known, for interventions on behalf of the central bank to prop up governments. There's some major fiscal issues that governments are grappling with, namely high debt loads and perpetual deficits, and higher interest rates really puts a strain on their budget. So we're going to see, I think, central banks trying to react against that over the next several months, and we'll see how long it lasts, because I think they're playing with the beast of inflation here, and they might not win, especially once Neptune goes into the fire sign of Aries next year. Next week, we also have Mars square Neptune on the 3rd, and then Mars ingressing into Cancer on the 4th. In fact, we had a student in MMTA conduct some very excellent research regarding Mars in Cancer, regarding the cryptocurrency market, and we'll be looking forward to sharing that in the near future. But you take a look at the dollar against the Japanese yen, a little bit of a relief rally here. This continues to raise concerns for the overall market after the carry trade blew up, after as was forecast in forecast 2024. And we're going to be giving an update on this very important currency pair at the investment retreat, the MMA investment retreat in Lake Bled, Slovenia, from the 19th to the 22nd of September. Let's go ahead and jump over to the gold market. You'll see GLD here, the ETF, continues to consolidate near the highs. I do view this as bullish price action, a little bit of divergence. Silver trying to come back as well. It did make another lower high. Now we can see if it makes a higher low. We also did just roll from the September contract to the December contract in the futures market. So a lot of transactions taking place right now in silver. I do want to look at bonds. Long-term treasuries, TLT, continues to consolidate near the highs. This definitely has bullish posturing as we finally received some more clarity on the status of long-term cycles. It does look like this is going to continue higher as the Fed moves to lower interest rates. And again, the big theme that we're going to be dealing with at a broader economic level now is that we're in the central time band of Jupiter square Saturn. So that tension between growth and contraction. Can the Fed and central banks around the world walk the line in terms of stimulating the economy without creating inflation? They've been very tight and contractionary in their monetary policy over the last couple of years, and the economy has managed to chug along. Although it does, uh, I do believe that we had a recession in 2022 when we had two negative quarters of GDP. So now, as we see bonds rally and interest rates come down, there is the threat of an economic slowdown. But I'm a little skeptical as to whether we'll actually slip into a recession. I think there will be a lot of concerns around that with Jupiter square Saturn. But I think the Fed's just going to inflate their way out of any problem that comes their way. Let's go ahead and take a look at crude oil. It continues to be a choppy market. I do expect a resolution to this range-bound action sometime between now and June of next year. I know that's a long ways away, but really it's that central time band of Jupiter and Saturn. The energy market is a good barometer for economic demand. Energy prices do tend to rise when the economy is growing. They do tend to drop when the economy is contracting. So that's something to watch here as well. A little bit of ambiguity in terms of what the state of the primary cycle is, but I know that Puyan Zolfargania just released his monthly addendum report, the monthly cycles report this week. So you want to check that out for his updates on the energy market. And speaking of which, we also have Wyatt Fellows publishing the MMA monthly grain report for any of you that track grain markets. And of course, let's go ahead and jump over to the cryptocurrency market. We're seeing Bitcoin at the lows of the day now continues to sell off. This is going to be interesting because we've talked about Venus going through Libra and the importance that it has for crypto markets. Venus in Libra favors Ethereum actually, but the likelihood of a 20% or greater move is going to be higher starting tomorrow, starting after Venus ingresses into Libra. So we'll see what happens there. We're dropping now. My bias is that we form a higher low compared to this low from August 5th and then can take out this high from August 25th. And if we do that, we will have reestablished a short-term bull trend. But right now, the trend is kind of mixed. So if we can complete a higher low here, I think it looks good. Otherwise, we could see a 20% move to the downside, and that, could take you to new lows and possibly into the mid $40,000 area. So again, the 20% or greater move associated with Venus and Libra has to do with directions. It's not an upside bias nor a downside bias. Just want to be very clear on that. So that's all I had for today, everyone. I mentioned the announcements of the report publications from Puyan and Wyatt. They will be joining us at the MMA Investment Retreat in Lake Blood, Slovenia from the 19th to the 22nd of September. There are still some spots available to attend in person. If not, I really encourage you to join us virtually. We're going to be covering long-term outlooks for all markets. And there's going to be some very renowned individuals on the astrology front doing some forecasts. We also just added a very special financial astrologer to the roster. So I'm not going to announce who this person is today, but I will announce who they are next week and look forward to sharing that with you. And I think it may even entice a couple of you that are on the fence to join us for this very special event. So that's all for now, everyone. Thanks again. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week, www.mmacycles.com. Thank you.